Why do I read?
I live in two worlds. One is a world of books.
For me, it's books, books, books.
The mind needs books like a sword needs a whetstone.
I guess people like to read about the things that they want most and experience the least.
Books feed me.
Once upon a time.
I read it in a book once.
Is this a kissing book?
I don't care. I'm not ashamed of my book.
It's not right for a woman to read. Soon she starts getting ideas and thinking.
I checked this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading.
Books! You have never interested me more.
I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Now, when you read, don't just consider what the author thinks. Consider what you think.
I love that book.
I hated that book.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Don't read this book.
Those books are good. This might be the best book I've ever read.
I'm gonna go read.
Go ahead, read.
Why do I read? I read because this world is not about free.
It's a sticker. Well, it's like a healing sticker. It's got Neosporin in it.
Oh, how did you do that?
I think I did it in my sleep because I've been.
That sounds right.
I woke up and I just had like my chin was like skinned, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So,
you are a very violent sleeper.
Yeah.
You are a sleepwalker / fighter. Like, I can attest to our decade worth of sleepovers. Like, Lita has straight up punched me in the face in her sleep before.
I don't mean to punch you or anybody. I just flail a lot.
I know.
Yeah, Jared said, like, the first time he slept over at my house, I woke up and he said I rolled over and my eyes were wide open. Like, and he was like, "Oh my God, Lita," like he thought I was dead. Because some people do that, they sleep with their eyes open, and I was sleeping
like
in my
Gandalf.
eyes, and he shook me and he said that I said, "We don't have enough bacon." Don't remember. He said it scared him to death. He was like, "I thought you were dead," and then you were like, "We don't have enough bacon."
It's bacon. Well, hi, hello, Bookmates.
Hi, hello.
Hi, hello. Welcome.
It's August.
It's August,
and it's hot.
Blech.
Blech. It's so hot. I don't know about you, but like here, it's been unseasonably warm this year and super early.
Same.
It's been so just mind-bogglingly hot.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. And it also started early, and now that they have a dog at work, I have to be in it so much more than normal, and I like die. I'm like, I have to take the dog outside again.
I don't know if you can tell,
So hot.
but I've been to like 3 cookouts in almost 100-degree heat, and I am actually tan. Can you see my?
You know, you do look tanner.
I'm actually tanned, which is it's an anomaly.
Look,
Doesn't happen.
I don't think you can probably see it, but I actually have a tan line where my watch goes. You probably can't see it in this lighting.
I can see a circle.
Probably maybe in the dark better. I don't know. But here's the really annoying thing about me. Only my arms are the only thing of me that tans. Everything else stays white. And it doesn't matter how long my legs are in the sun. My legs do not tan. They just stay milky white. And my arms get tan and freckly and nothing else. Ever since I was a little kid, my entire family has quoted Space Jam to me. Bill Murray's line when he goes, "Larry's not white. Larry is clear." And that's how my family refers to me. Because I'm the only one of us who can't get a decent tan.
I know. You know what, guys? Listen, Tiffany's family, they're all very, like, I wouldn't say that they're light complected. It's almost like an olive kind of a skin.
Yeah. It's that European.
Yeah, and Denise is so tan.
Oh, she might as well.
Tiffany's sister,
too.
Denise.
Yeah, like we look like we're different races, and we come from the same parents. I should post it on our Instagram, but like literally Denise and I like put our legs up together, like we were sitting across from each other and we put our legs up and like her legs are just so dark brown and mine are like white, and we're like we always joke that we're chocolate and vanilla swirl because the contrast is
yummy.
Shocking.
Is that Jim Carrey? Yummy.
Yummy.
That sounded like Bill from True Blood.
Sucky.
Yummy.
Sucky.
So yummy.
I love you.
Oh my gosh, we watched the first couple episodes with Livy, and you know she
of True Blood.
Yes, and well, she's almost 18.
Well,
yeah,
so...
she's almost 18, dude. Like she's old enough to watch True Blood. Okay. But she still shies away from the sexual stuff, but she wanted to watch it. She loves the Vampire Diaries and that kind of stuff. And so she was like, "Mom, watch it with me." And I was like, "Okay. I would love to watch it with you if you're
gonna have to look away a lot."
But like it got to the part where like she's like, "Oh, Bill, he's dead." And she goes to the cemetery and she's like got no shoes on. She's got that little sundress on. She's like laying flowers on his fake grave because he's a vampire. And he just comes up out of the ground. And then they start screwing right there in the cemetery, you know?
Yeah.
And Livy was like, "Oh my gosh. Holy yeast infection."
Literally. That's exactly what I said.
What I thought.
Like, this is not hot. I'm like, can we say urinary tract infection? Because you're not walking away from that interaction without something going wrong.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
He's covered in dirt.
No, graveyard dirt.
No, that is not a good time. It's like, okay, I'm really happy you're alive. Now go wash your peen, and then we can
go wash your peen. I love that he went into the ground butt ass naked. Like, why couldn't he have been wearing clothes when he went in there?
Also, how did he dig that fast? He just buried himself, and
He's
it
a
looked
vampire.
like someone had properly buried him, though.
Okay, but he's strong enough to like break trees and throw them across yards. I think he can dig a hole.
Well, yeah, but the hole wouldn't look like it was buried by grave people.
Well, maybe he dug down somewhere else and dug a tunnel.
Just tunneled his way over.
Oh, this is my bed.
I shall rest here for the night.
Anyway, it's summer. What do we read? Sorry, guys, we're in the sidebar.
Appropriately titled, we read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry.
Yes, and it's a summer read. It's one of those summer reads on all the lists.
I am a first-time Emily Henry reader. She's just been everywhere.
Me too.
Okay, first question. Mm-hmm. Lita.
Yes?
And Bookmates alike, did you like it?
I liked it.
I liked it too.
Yay.
I liked it actually much more than I expected to. If I'm being totally honest. Yeah. I mean, you know me, I'm not a huge contemporary romance person. And
you know what? I don't think you've read a lot of contemporary romance though. So
well, I have read some. Yeah.
Maybe you're becoming more of a fan as we go.
Well, I think it's just like a renaissance and a coming back around, because when I became a reader, like in my early adult years, all I read was contemporary romance. That's all I read. Like Nora Roberts-esque type of books. Like that's literally all I read. Yeah. That and like murder mysteries.
Dude, when I read romance, it was always historical. Usually.
Yeah, so I was just like, those are all I read, and I just kind of felt like I grew out of them because it just was like paint by numbers romance all the time. And so I just got bored with it. And
I feel like there's this new wave, though, of contemporary romance that's much more palatable.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I just haven't delved into it much. And I will say that the last couple contemporary authors that I've tried that have gotten a lot of hype and are super, super popular, I hated. I was actually super nervous to read Emily Henry because everyone loves her. And I'm like, I don't want to be the one that always comes on here and like I didn't like it. Because I feel like people are going to think that I don't like any book, and I always have something to complain about. Just because, like, the last few we've read, with the exception of Anxious People, but we've had some duds lately.
Yeah, we've
so
had some duds this year, for sure.
So I was really nervous, but still, I go into every book with a clean slate, managing my expectations, and I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Well, good.
I thought it was sweet, and it wasn't too cringy to me. It actually reminded me a lot of my friendship with Michael.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so let's take it back. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We're going to be discussing People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry in every single one of its chapters, pages, characters, plot points, and twists. And we're going to talk about all of it. Sorry.
And we're going to talk about all the things. Anything sexual. Anything triggering. We cast. We don't care. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Welcome to the show. This is the greatest show. If you haven't read this book and you want to read this book and don't want it spoiled for you, pause it, go read it, come back and join us. If you don't really plan on reading it, then just stick around and listen to us talk about it, and you'll feel like you have read it.
Right?
Right. So if you have a book report due and you don't actually feel like reading the book, just listen, and you'll be able to definitely get an A on a book report by the end.
Who the hell is reading this for a book report, bro?
I don't know. I'm just saying that stylistically, anybody who is doing a book report on a book, they could listen.
If you make book reports in your head for all the books you read.
You never know what the kids are reading these days.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Since we've already done our spoiler, I actually thought this book was kind of PG.
It was. I was actually surprised at the lack of spice. That was one of my only well, not my only, but I was like, oh, where's all the spice? I thought she was like a...
I actually thought that it was a little refreshing. Sometimes you just don't need it. It's like the Pride and Prejudice kind of thing. You don't need to see in the bedroom.
And it gave you enough to where you didn't feel robbed completely of...
Right. And I mean, she still gets pounded, but it's not like super graphic.
How romantic. So, for any of you who haven't read this book, we'll give you a brief synopsis. Lita, take it away.
Am I doing the synopsis?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
As we've discussed like 3 times.
Wait a minute. I got all the 5 stars. What did you get?
Oh, am I doing what synopsis?
What did you get?
I did do the 1 stars, but I didn't write it down. That's why I didn't know.
Oh.
Because I'm... Synopsis.
Synopsis.
We have our 2 characters, Poppy Wright and Alex Nielsen. They are polar opposite people who meet at college. They end up accidentally developing a really tight-knit friendship. They have kind of an awkward first meeting, and they don't really see each other too much at school, but they're from the same hometown. So when it comes to going back home to visit, she needs a ride, and her friend was like, oh, I have a friend who's going. He can give you a ride. And she's like, okay. And then they set up that meeting, and she shows up, and it's the guy, Alex, from that awkward first day that they met. And they drive all the way, and at first they're just like not really getting along because they're just polar opposites. They actually don't really have that much in common. But through the course of the road trip, the things that they don't have in common kind of unite them in a weird way. And ever since then, they just kind of developed this deep friendship that is platonic. So we're in a friends to lovers scenario here in this book.
Yes.
And it kind of takes off from there. And one of the things that they actually both have in common is their desire to travel. Poppy wants to be a travel blog writer or something in that sphere. And Alex just wants to travel because he likes to be about the world. Alex is very intellectual and likes to know everything about everything.
But he's also a massive introvert.
Mm-hmm.
And she is like a big extrovert. So they are polar opposites as far as like just the way they go about doing pretty much everything. So he kind of is pulled out of his box a lot by Poppy, and that is something that he finds that he likes.
Yeah, and he is someone for Poppy that reins her in because she can get very head in the clouds. So they complement each other in the best ways and bring each other out in the best ways. So after they graduate from school and life starts to happen and she moves away for work, they decide to take a summer vacation together every year, just the two of them, just to travel and get away and have someone to go with.
And her blog is about the blog that she's been writing when they go on these trips, of course, is about travel, but more specifically traveling on a budget, traveling cheaply.
Mm-hmm.
So they stay in like really cheap places and they try not to spend a lot of money.
And she gets to take Alex on all these fun work trips, and she gets, she works her way up, and the trips gradually get a little bit nicer, a little fancier, until one fateful trip where something happens, and we don't quite know what that is, but whatever it was enough for them to have a falling out. So when we start the book, her and Alex have fallen out already, and we're going to kind of go back in time and kind of have a dual timeline situation where she's not content anymore in her current job, and she just wants to find the joy in her life again. And the last time that she remembers being happy was with Alex on their trips. So she reaches back out to him after 2 years of silence, radio silence, and they reconnect and decide to take another summer vacation together. And Alex's brother, David, is getting married in California. So she's like, perfect, we'll just piggyback our trip and then we'll just end it with your brother's wedding. So that's kind of where we kick off the story.
Yay!
Yay!
Synopsis.
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 Synopsis. Okay, first of all, the first thing I Google all the books that we read, and the first thing that came up was that this book was the Goodreads Choice Award winner for Reader's Favorite Romance in 2021. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that is a great factoid.
Yeah, so it's very well loved just across the board. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why. I felt like this is my first Henry book, so I felt like her writing was pretty solid, and I thought that the way that she did the timelines was really well done.
Yeah, basically the way that the timelines are, it's pretty specific to summertime. So it's what's happening now, like in the now, and every so often there'll be a chapter that goes back a certain amount of summers, and we start back at 5 summers ago. That was the prologue, starts at 5 summers ago. And it just gets less and less and less. And you're kind of working up to that moment that you're wondering what happened to cause their falling out throughout the book.
And it happened in Croatia. Their trip to Croatia is when it happened. So it's constantly referenced.
But you're gradually watching their friendship develop from college all the way through those summer vacations up into this current vacation they're taking now. And I thought it was a really clever way to explore their relationship and show you how it developed over time.
Yes. I loved that because you get so many of these just moments between Alex and Poppy that you can understand why they're friends. These really sweet moments that are also super realistic and don't come across as cringy at all.
Right.
Surprisingly.
I thought there was a lot of dialogue too. There's a lot of back and forth. And I love that. I think sometimes the authors do a lot more inside of the character's head. And you are in Poppy's head for this book. It's from Poppy's point of view. You don't really get Alex's point of view. There was a lot of opportunities for the author to do that, and she just doesn't. Like, she just lets you see all of the gritty conversations, even the ones that really aren't influential to the romance. Just like normal conversations that they're having while they're friends or as their friendship is developing. And a lot of books don't do that.
I loved that kind of slow play out, like you said, because you're able to see those moments, like why are they friends? And then eventually it's not right away. It's several years later where Poppy's finally kind of starting to be like, there is a slight what if in the back of my head, but we're just going to leave it there because I'm not going to sacrifice my friendship with Alex. And so what I was saying earlier, I have a platonic male friend, and we've been friends for over 10 years now, closer to 11. And our story, they reminded me a lot of Michael and I's dynamic, except just in reverse. So they were like friends to lovers. And initially Michael and I dated, and we just realized quickly that we were not compatible, and we're like, we should just be friends. And so then we transitioned to like this really great platonic friendship. So, which we still have.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like Michael. He's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy.
I've only met him one time. But
Yeah.
I like his rabbit.
He has a rabbit.
Has a cute rabbit who just sat on my...
His name is Peter Jackson.
He just sat on my shoulder. Like a parrot.
He's so cute.
He was so cute.
Yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised, and it was such a refreshing read and a quick, fun, easy read after some of the not so great ones we've read lately. I just ate it up.
I'm going to say this now because I've kind of been waiting. There was definitely times where I was annoyed with Alex and Poppy. Definitely moments where I was like, this is just not okay.
Agreed.
Just the way that they were handling their relationships with other people when they were obviously in love with each other. Some of
that's
that
where
stuff,
it started to lose me towards the end when you kind of get to those stages, and we'll get there.
And they show you what happens with like the relationships that they're having while they're clearly in love with each other. It's just kind of like very selfish to me, like some of the ways that they behaved.
I have that written down in my notes.
It actually reminded me a lot of Jim and Pam from The Office. Like, do you know how like Jim is like clearly in love with Pam the entire time, but he still continues to like date other people while he's clearly in love with Pam.
Right,
like,
but Pam's not available, so of course he has to move on with his life.
We'll get to that later. But like the thing for me is that I don't think that is a fair way to behave.
No, I agree.
You should not actually, in my opinion, be dating other people if you have severe feelings that you haven't moved on from someone else. Like, it's not fair to that other person, especially if they don't know what's going on inside your head because you don't communicate it to them. I don't think that it's okay to have a long-term relationship or a relationship with anybody if you are completely 100% hung up on somebody else. That's not a fair way to go into dating someone.
Totally.
And I mean, just the excuse that you don't want to be alone, that's not enough because you're leading people on and you're setting them up for a pain, possibly a lot of pain.
Yeah, that was the only thing. And I think that some of those things didn't bother me as much as they might otherwise have in a normal situation, just because there was a lot of things about Alex and Poppy that I did relate to quite a bit because of that past relationship. Because there was a time where he and I weren't together anymore and we were just friends. But then I got together with someone else, and it was then that he was like, oh no, I still have feelings for her.
Right.
And that really affected our friendship a lot. And so when that didn't work out, we kind of slowly became friends again. And it was kind of this like, I don't know if we're willing to risk our friendship for something romantic. But there was always the what if, because like he and I, it was our first relationships with each other, was the first time we had a relationship with anyone. So, fast forward, 8 years or something like that, we did have those like what if questions, like was it just the right person at the wrong time? And now that we've grown so much and had different relationships with other people with this work now,
right,
but then you just kind of like are afraid to risk the friendship,
right?
And that was something I had told him a few times. I was like, I'm not willing to risk our friendship, but it got to the point where if it wasn't explored, we probably couldn't be friends.
Right, yeah.
So sometimes you just have to do the what if. And we did that, and it lasted like all of a couple months. They were like, yeah, no, we're good. The breakup shall stand, and we're just meant to be friends.
Right.
But just to get the what if crossed off.
I've also had relationships with men, though, where they have feelings for someone else, and then you find out after months of dating that they have feelings for someone else. And that is very upsetting and frustrating, and it can actually cause a lot of mistrust in future relationships, a lot of problems. So Alex has a girlfriend in this book named Sarah, while he's clearly in love with Poppy, and he's trying to move on from Poppy or the idea of her by being with this other woman. And I just, that's so, like, to me, it's like, no. Like, there, and you can tell at the end of the book, you know, Sarah kind of is a character later in the book, and she is really, you can tell that she's kind of fucked up from that.
Yeah.
Like from that interaction. And she's like, she says something along the lines of, well, you can take him off the market because he doesn't need to be on the market. Like, he doesn't need to be with other people. And she's probably absolutely right about that in a weird way, even though that's really none of her business. But at the same time, it's like, he put her through something that she should have never gone through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can't be honest with yourself. So I actually think that this book is also the story of a journey of how not to do something in that kind of a situation. Like, don't do this because you're just going to hurt everybody, including yourself. You're going to hurt everybody around you by lying to yourself and just not having those conversations with each other about your feelings.
That was pretty much my only critique, and like, we don't really get there until the end, so maybe we're getting ahead.
Yeah, we are a little ahead. I know we got really ahead. We're a little out of order today, but we start out with Poppy. Her and Alex haven't talked for 2 years when we start out. She is a columnist for a magazine.
R&R,
Rest and Relaxation is what that stands for. And, you know, she writes articles on travel. They pay for her to go on trips, and she goes on trips and writes articles for this magazine. It's a travel magazine. And that's kind of where we start, is that she has reached this like height of her career.
Living in New York, living it up.
She's just jet setting all over the planet, doing vacations and stuff, and this is always what she's wanted to do, but she feels really empty inside and she doesn't know why. You know, she's like, why do I feel this discontent all the time? Why am I not happy? And then she thinks, and she realizes the last time that she thinks that she was happy was when she was with Alex and going on vacations with Alex. And so she calls him up, or she didn't call him up, she texts him. They kind of have like that middle of the night, like, how are you? How are you? I don't know. Good night conversations for a while, until she decides, hey, there's somewhere I need to go for work. I'm going to pitch this vacation to go where Alex is going to be for work to my boss and see if I could make this happen. And her boss turns her down. She says, I don't like the location of this.
Yeah, like we do at California all the time. Like, let's not.
And her response to that was, I need some time off work. And so she takes a sabbatical and decides to just go see Alex on her own. So she takes a vacation from work to go on vacation with Alex.
But she makes it seem to Alex that work is paying for it.
Right. So he doesn't know that she's footing the bill for everything. And so she disguises the fact that she's footing the bill with, let's do everything like we used to. Get everything on the cheap.
Yep.
He doesn't know, but her work's not funding it.
Yeah.
And of course, living in New York City, I imagine, is expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
So when the book first opened, it's not the present time, and it was a few years back, like you said, 5 summers ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on a trip to, I think it was somewhere in Mexico or somewhere like that. And you're seeing the first interactions between Alex and Poppy, and she's pretending to pick him up at the bar. You don't know that she knows him yet. Because he had just broken up with Sarah.
Right, yeah.
And so he was kind of like in his feels of...
Or no, he had told her that Sarah broke up with him. And that Sarah had told him that he was really boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was like, bitch.
But he's lying about that.
Yeah. So she's basically trying to help him get back out there. So she's flirting with him. Anyway, they get back to the car and it's pouring rain. And immediately, first off the bat, I thought that... I didn't realize Alex was going to be a main player in the book. And I was like, oh no, he's going to die. One of the very first notes, page 10, Alex says, hey, Alex says as he puts the car in park. Hey, what? Let's take a picture, he says, together. You hate having your picture taken, I point out, which has always been weird to me because on a technical level, Alex is extremely handsome. I know, Alex says, but it's dark and I want to remember this. Okay, I say, yeah, let's take one. And I was like, oh no, he's dying. He's gonna die. Because he was like, I want to remember this. I was like, oh no. And then my next note, oh, okay, not dead, LOL.
He's gonna have an aneurysm right there.
I was like, oh no. And now she's gonna be like, her tortured past best friend was dead. And because I didn't even read the synopsis of the book before I read it. So I really had no idea.
I have a description of Alex Nilsson. You keep saying Nielsen. I think it's Nilsson. It's Nilsen.
I guess so, huh?
Alex Nilsson description, page 3. She sees him across the bar. A man about my age, 25, sandy-haired and tall with broad shoulders. He's fully reading a book at the bar. I swing my hip into the bar and slide my elbow over it as I face him. Hey, tiger.
Hurrah. Do you know who I pictured as Alex the whole book?
I couldn't picture anybody.
Oh, really?
It was all over the place in my head.
I'm going to send you a picture.
Oh my god, if you send me a picture of Henry Cavill, I'm going to throw my phone.
It's not Henry Cavill. I would not send you Sam Calvin? The guy who plays Finnick in Hunger Games?
Oh, yeah? Yeah, that's a good picture.
Because he's just like kind of cute and...
I think he is so hot.
Just kind of sweet, boy next door, but hot.
Yeah. He's also, he's very hot too.
Ironically, the guy who's playing him in the movie is also from the Hunger Games, but he's the President Snow guy, like the new one. And I just can't picture that at all.
The guy from American Horror Story and American Beauty? What?
No, the new Hunger Games.
The new one?
Yeah. The guy who plays President Snow, but like as a young person.
With Rachel Farquaad?
Yeah. And I just don't see him as Alex at all.
I did note something from page 1. I'm going to go ahead and read it. This is kind of like a precursor. Just like a little starter for the book on page 1. On vacation, you can be anyone you want, like a good book or an incredible outfit. Being on vacation transports you into another version of yourself. On vacation, your hair changes. The water is different. Maybe the shampoo. Maybe you don't bother to wash your hair at all or brush it because the salty ocean water curls it up in a way that you love. You think, maybe I could do this at home too. Maybe I could be this person who doesn't brush her hair, who doesn't mind being sweaty or having sand in all of her crevices.
Sand. I hate sand.
It's everywhere. It's so raw and coarse.
Not like here.
Not like here.
Everything's soft and smooth.
That is from Attack of the Clones. Hayden Christensen, everyone.
So cringe.
It's not his fault, though. Livy reminds me of that.
Like, that script is bad.
It's not his fault.
It's bad.
It's bad dialogue. So dry and coarse.
Like, that movie, That movie also had Natalie Portman, Liam Neeson, and Ewan McGregor, and Samuel L. Jackson. If all those people couldn't make that movie good, it's a shit script, okay?
It's Ewan.
That's what I said.
You said, no. You said A1.
What did I say? Ewan?
It's Ewan.
I was in my mind. I was like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ewan. I must have meshed them in my mouth.
It's okay. I said Ewan until this year. Ewan McGregor.
Like that's an A-list cast, you know. Like,
oh, absolutely.
If a script is bad, then a script is just bad.
An A-list cast is not a good movie make. It needs
true.
more than that. Look at Cats. Have you seen Cats?
Writers are important.
Right? And also post-production and everything else has to be good too. Also, Alex is a cat person. Just want to go ahead and throw that out there. Love that. He has a cat named Flannery O'Connor who has a lot of medical issues and requires pills, which is so sweet.
That is so sweet, but would be a deal breaker for me.
Men with cats or kittens is the cutest thing ever. The way they
Instant
curl up.
Deal breaker for me.
Why?
Because I'm allergic to cats. It would never work between us.
No, but I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, a guy with a cat is cute. It's always cute watching them play or, like, cuddle or... It is cute.
Any guy with any animal is cute.
No.
You're right. Not a snake.
I like snakes.
But the snake is not a snake is not an animal. That is a reptile.
That's still an animal. It's part of the animal
it's a reptile.
kingdom. It's part of the animal kingdom.
Okay.
Did Noah take them on the ark? Yes. It's an animal.
Men with mammals, then.
Men with mammals.
Men with mammals are attractive.
My.
So, kind of early, we're seeing Poppy with her friend Rachel. She's telling Rachel how she's not content and things like that. And Rachel's kind of trying to help her. So they're having this conversation, but it's happening while they're at a gym because, of course, they're New Yorkers. And I just thought this was so funny. I was like, that sounds like me. Page 33. What makes you happy? She lifts herself to pedal faster at the teacher's command. For my part, I'm basically slumped over the handlebars, forcing my feet down like I'm biking through molasses. I hate exercise. I love the feeling of having exercised. Silence, I gasp, heart throbbing. Makes me happy. And she prompts, those raspberry vanilla cream bars from Trader Joe's. I get out. This is a relatable thing.
You should try and get those next time you go. We don't have a Trader Joe's here.
Oh, I love Trader Joe's. I'm there every week.
Every week?
They open one right around the corner from my house, and it's the best thing ever of my life. I love Trader Joe's.
I just want them for the kiwi grapes.
Oh, those are good.
They're very good. They're kiwis, but they're the size of grapes. What? And they just pop in your mouth. It's like, oh, what a refreshing snack. That's what I thought. Oh. Never seen them anywhere else. Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's just is life.
Page 21. This is Poppy. My life turned out how I hoped it would, and now I just miss wanting something. What is there left to want when you've got your dream apartment, your dream boss, and your dream job? I don't want to have millennial in you. Is it in you?
Ennui.
Ennui. In you. Ennui, I say. It makes me feel like an asshole to not just be content with my amazing life.
Yeah, that was a good line.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's true. It's so true because there's a difference between contentment and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And also you can have all of those ingredients, but if you're missing the secret sauce, it's still not going to be as good as it could be. And I think that the biggest thing that Poppy is missing out on all these things is connection.
Yes.
You know, because and in the end, that's kind of what she says, why she missed those trips with Alex, not only because of Alex, but because before she was, high up in this fancy job, she used to just go on these, budget trips. And she's like, I got to meet so many people, like the people we meet on vacation. That's the name of the book.
Well, it's also about the fact that you're spending it with someone you love. It's not just the traveling. It's not just the connections that you make. It's enjoying it with someone. I could see how traveling would get lonely. Have you ever seen the movie Summertime with Katharine Hepburn?
No.
It was a 1955 film. Great movie. It's about this older woman who has saved her whole life to go on this trip to Italy, right? And she always thought that she would be somewhere other than where she is now, which is single. And she travels to Italy and she gets there and it's everything she wanted it to be. She loves it, but she's so lonely. And it kind of reminded me of that. You can travel wherever you want to go, but if you don't have someone to share it with, it can be lonely. You know, it doesn't mean it's not guaranteed to be lonely. Some people like traveling alone, and there's nothing wrong with that. But part of the reason that she was loving traveling and wanted to do that for her career is because of all the joy that she felt when she was on vacation with Alex. But part of that joy was being with Alex. And I think that it took her a really long time to realize that that's part of what made all of her traveling so special. And it wasn't until he wasn't there anymore that she started to feel like this emptiness that she feels now. And on page 22, her boss says to her, "Purpose matters more than contentment. You've had a ton of career goals, which gave you purpose. One by one, you met them. And voila, no purpose." Poppy says, "So I need new goals." She nods empathetically. "I read this article about it. Apparently, the completion of long-term goals often leads to depression. It's the journey, not the destination. And whatever the fuck else those throw pillows say." That's basically what she's saying is like, why aren't you happy? Maybe you need to explore that. Maybe you do need some time off to like kind of find yourself and find where you want to be. And really think about what you want, you know? Do you want to keep going on this road? Do you want to do something else? And she decides that she wants to be with Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, she's not even thinking romantically. She's like, I just need Alex back in my life in whatever capacity that looks like.
Well, actually, I think she was thinking romantically because even from the beginning, she's thinking about maybe I'm in love with Alex. And we don't know what happened on the last vacation when they stopped talking, but we find out later that it was
Croatia.
That it was like some physical intimacy that happened that kind of jump-started this conversation that she wasn't ready to have yet with Alex, or take their relationship to places she wasn't ready for it to go. Yeah, she is thinking about Alex in a romantic way a lot. Like her heart is pounding when they're texting. Like she's saying, I'm thinking about what I want, and I want that man. You know? I want Finnick, bro. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I do think what you said is right, though, because I think that what she was saying, like, she has feelings for Alex. She's in love with Alex, and she's realizing that she's in love with Alex, but she's also saying that I don't care if he loves me back. I just need to heal our friendship because I at least need us to be at friendship capacity. Like,
yeah.
So it's not like that she necessarily doesn't have feelings for Alex. It's more that she is willing to accept those terms with him in order to have him in her life.
Yeah.
Like, if he doesn't want to be with her, she still would rather be friends and wants to heal that relationship by going on vacation.
Yes.
Yes.
And I will devil's advocate a little bit right here that before they're falling out, kind of like what you were saying, it's not fair to the other person that person is with, but that's also how Alex approached their friendship in those beginning years too. Like, she's not into me, she doesn't want to be with me that way, but I want Poppy in my life, even if it's just as friends, and I'll just, be with somebody else.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it wasn't until that last vacation where they all, and we'll get there, but there's a last vacation where they go on like a couple's vacation, and I was like, okay, like there's no way that Alex doesn't know at this point. Like he should have just told her no.
That's when it should have happened.
Yeah.
For sure. There was a couple of boyfriend synchronicities I thought were really funny with character names. Did you?
Only that there's literally a character named Lita with my spelling.
I know.
I have never seen my name spelled Lita in a book. This is the first time I've ever seen my name spelled Lita in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so excited.
And never seen it before. I know. I saw it. I was like, what?
I was listening to it because I listened to most of it and then just kind of read it here and there. But I heard it. I was like, Lita.
I thought I heard it too. And I was like, no, it couldn't have been right.
And I opened the book and I was like, oh, it is. And it's even spelled that way. Because sometimes when you see it in books, it's Leda.
Oh, yeah.
Lita.
It's never Lita though.
It's never that way.
No.
And it was. And I was really excited.
You know what? I immediately thought, where did she get the name? Like, that was like, immediately I was like, I want to like reach out to her and be like, hey, like, what inspired you to pick that name? Was it Lita Ford? Was it a wrestler? Or was it just a name that you've always known? Like, I was so curious because it's such a random name, my name.
I've never met another Lita in my entire life.
I've only met one with my spelling, and I think I've met two others, but it wasn't my spelling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very unique name. On page 41, occasionally I see Alex Nilsson around on campus, but we don't speak again until the day after freshman year ends. It was my roommate, Bonnie, who set up the whole thing. Or
Bonnie.
Who set the whole thing up. Bonnie. And then later when they're in Canada, on page 99, welcome to Tofino, she says. I'm Daisy. Another flower, I say. But at least they don't use yours to make opium.
Oh, here I wrote in that. So they've been friends for 12 years. Okay. So that's how long that they've known each other, guys. 12 years. Because I was like, 5 years? That's not long enough. Because it starts out like 5 summers ago, but they met 12 summers ago. That's what I have written down.
College.
So in college. Yeah.
So it takes you to that 5 years ago summer, and then we're in present. They kind of talk about the falling out, and then they kind of take you back to the beginning, and kind of those summers and those moments leading up to even 5 years ago summer.
And they have really great chemistry. They just bounce back and forth really quickly in their conversations. It's not super awkward. Just like you would see how people normally are that are together. You know, or like super good friends.
As friends. Like, I felt like the dialogue was really well written.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't cringy. Like, there were some times...
It wasn't cringy. It wasn't until like the very end I was like, oh, we almost made it through the whole book without me being like, ugh, cringe. We'll get there. I was thinking early that maybe Sarah had dumped him because of his relationship with Poppy. On page 60, her and Alex are texting. And this is in present day because he's telling her that his brother David is getting married and his brother David is only 24. And Poppy texts Alex, if you'd gotten married at 24, you'd be married to Sarah. I texted Alex. You'd be married to Guillermo, he said. I sent him back one of his own sad puppy selfies. Please tell me you're not still carrying a torch for that, Dick. Alex said. The two of them had never gotten along. Of course not, I wrote back. But Guy and I weren't the ones in a torturous on and off relationship. That was you and Sarah. Alex typed and stopped typing so many times I wondered if he was doing it just to annoy me, but that was the end of that conversation. So that's kind of when you're like, okay, they're kind of pussyfooting around stuff.
But they go and they meet in the baggage claim in California. This is page 67. Hi, he says, and I hope he heard the smile in my voice the way I hear it in his. Despite his general aversion to any form of public affection, neither of us lets go right away, and I have the sense that we're thinking the same thing. It's okay to hold on for an inappropriately long time when it's been 2 years since you've hugged.
Aw, I actually have a note just around that time too. It was so sweet. This one was on page 66, where they're first reuniting. Like, he kind of sneaks up behind her and is like, hi. And she says, and it's normal, so natural to push up on my tiptoes and wrap my arms around his waist, burrow my face into his chest and breathe him in. Cedar, musk, lime. There is no greater creature of habit than Alex Nilsson.
I love that idea of her being small and him being super tall.
Well, as a short person, I can say that sometimes it's equally awkward to hug a really tall person. There was this one guy I dated for a couple months, and he was a full foot taller than me. I'm only 5'3", and he was 6'3". So even on my tippy toes, it was like, how do we even attempt to kiss each other?
I need a step stool.
It was so awkward. But they had a really cute, very natural banter and dialogue. So at the beginning, when they're reuniting, they just reunited. They're going to get a rental car. Page 78. Here. Alex takes out his phone and steps back. Let me get a picture of you with it. I pop the door open and prop my foot up, striking a pose. Immediately, Alex starts to crouch. Alex, no, not from below. Sorry, he says. I forgot how weird you are about that. I'm weird, I say. You take pictures like a dad with an iPad. If you had glasses on the end of your nose and a UC Bearcats t-shirt on, you'd be indistinguishable. He makes a big show of holding the phone up as high as possible. What? Now we're going for that early 2000s emo angle, I say. Find a happy medium. Alex rolls his eyes and shakes his head, but snaps a few pictures at a semi-normal height, then comes to show them to me. I legitimately gasp when I see the last shot and grab for his arm. What? He says. You have portrait mode. I do. He agrees. And you used it, I point out. Yes. You know how to use portrait mode, I say, still aghast. Ha ha. How do you know how to use portrait mode? Did your grandson teach you when he was home for Thanksgiving? Wow, he deadpans. I've missed this so much. Just gives you kind of a good example of their dynamic and vibe, the way that they just kind of poke fun at each other. And
yes,
it's
so
just very
cute.
natural.
Yeah.
It's really cute without being cringy.
I think it's super hard to write dialogue that flows that way too.
It's
very impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
I found that very refreshing.
They go to the place where they're staying, and it's like it's like an Airbnb kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the heat's working. the air isn't working, and it's 80 freaking degrees. It's so hot in there. They can't get the guy to come out and fix it. It's just a freaking mess. It's just so hot they can't even sleep. And then there's one bed. Of course. That was another thing. There's one bed.
There's one bed.
Just like in the love hypothesis.
Yeah. It's the one bed trope. Page 88. Alex walks into me, a solid wall of sweat-dampened heat. His voice drops off. I'm not sure which horrible fact he's registering. That it's disgustingly hot in here, or that in the middle of this otherwise perfect studio apartment there sits one bed. No.
I busted out laughing.
Me too.
I was like, oh my god, the one bed. The one bed trope.
He says quietly, as if he didn't mean to say it out loud. I'm sure he didn't. It said 2 beds, I blurt out, frantically trying to pull up the reservation. I was like, there it is.
The one bed.
The one bed.
You kind of find out throughout the story that Poppy has a problem. They're both from Ohio, the same town. Poppy's from East Linfield, Ohio. Alex is from West. He is a teacher now. He works at the high school, and she's like, I'm not going there ever because I got bullied there. She kind of reveals that she had a really hard time in high school. And I wrote down a note for that, page 82. This is Poppy. And she's not saying this out loud. This is like in her head. Maybe if my parents hadn't been so completely encouraging of every facet of my brother and my individualism, I would have had better luck. There were kids who dealt with disapproval by adapting, making themselves more palatable, like Prince and Parker had in school, finding the overlap between their personalities and everyone else's. And then there were people like me who labored under the misconception that eventually my fellow children would not only tolerate but ultimately respect me for being myself. There's nothing so off-putting to some people as someone who seems not to care whether anyone else approves of them. Maybe it's resentment. I have bent for the greater good to follow the rules, so why haven't you? You should care. And I love that because I think that's really relevant.
Yeah.
And especially with children in high school.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm following the rules and I'm doing all the things. Why aren't you doing this? You're an outcast. And then they end up picking on those people because they're individual.
Yeah.
Because they're individual, they stand out.
Mm-hmm. And
in a good way, a lot of times. Yeah. And that's threatening to people. And so they try to squash that down. And when you're dealing with kids, children especially try to squash that down because it makes them feel insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they project that insecurity into bullying.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
I thought that was a really beautiful way to put it.
It is. It really was. The writing in this book was really decent. Like really, really on point, you know?
Yeah. She's very talented.
She has a good way with words. I actually have a quote not long after this on page 84. Poppy is recalling her and Alex's late night sleepover conversations, and it just reminded me so much of You and I's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I thought it was really sweet. Page 84. I told Alex, too, about how much I loved my family, how protective I felt of them, but how even with them, I was sometimes a little lonely. Everyone else was someone else's top person. Mom and Dad, Parker and Prince. Even the Huskies were paired up, while our terrier Mix and the cat spend most days curled together in a sun patch. Before Alex, my family was the only place I belonged, but even with them, I was something of a loose part. That baffling extra bolt IKEA packs in your bookcase just to make you sweat.
I think that also is something that a lot of people could probably relate to. You know, just because you have a great family that loves you doesn't mean that you feel like you fit in 100% of the time.
Yeah, or even if you do fit in with them, it can also be like, you don't understand me in the way I wish you understood me. You know, even though there's a lot of unconditional love and acceptance, you're like, okay, but you still don't
you don't get me.
You don't get me all the way.
Yeah.
Not for a lack of wanting to, it's just, you know.
Middle child syndrome. And you kind of see a little bit, too, of her bringing Alex to meet her family. And he also feels a little bit awkward. So they kind of bond over that a little bit. Because even though Poppy's completely comfortable with her family, she also sometimes feels very out of place.
And for Poppy, too, even though Alex has had feelings for her for a lot longer, it hasn't been that way for Poppy for the majority of their friendship in the early years. He was just Alex. You know, it wasn't until much later that even that little what if popped into her head. And
I think that it would have gone there for her if there had been some intimacy initiated, maybe. I think that their fear of losing their friendship kind of stopped them from crossing that line lots of times.
Yeah. And that is realistic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because it's like this could either go really, really great or this could totally ruin it. I meant to make a list of all the trips that they go on because we get to see them in a few different locations.
One trip in particular, Poppy is supposed to meet him, but she gets deathly ill and doesn't go. So Alex comes to her and takes care of her while she's sick, and she ends up having that was so romantic and sweet.
That was so
He basically she pissed herself.
She was very ill, running a fever for days, really high, and it was bad.
Yeah, and she ended up having really dangerous pneumonia. So he stayed the whole time, nursed her back to health, and it was really sweet. I loved that chapter.
It was really sweet. Me too. And they were all kind of snuggled up while she was in a fever delirium, and she was kind of cuddled up with him. And you kind of got those first inklings of there may be something here that wasn't there before.
And then they go on another trip. This is after Alex is with Sarah and Poppy is with, who's she with at this time? Because she has a few boyfriends in this book throughout the course of their relationship.
She was with Trey. But before they go on the Tuscany trip, they go to Canada. They have a Canada trip. And I did mark down this one quote during the Canada trip. This one is Mish specific.
Oh, Mish.
My friend Mish.
Love Mish.
I lost recently. She lived in Canada. And this is page 94. We drive 2 hours north to the motel I found on the eastern side of the island. It's a misty wonderland. Wide, uncluttered roads lined in forest as ancient as they are dense. There's not a ton to do in town, but there are redwoods and hiking trails to the waterfalls. And a Tim Hortons just a few miles down from the road from our motel. And she talked about Tim Hortons all the time.
What is it?
It's just like a store. It's just like an everything store. And she used to work there. And so she just always talked about like, yeah, we're just going down to Tim Hortons. And she just talked about it all the time. And so when I saw it, I was like, that's legit.
Jean is on this I want to move to Canada thing.
Oh, really?
It's only 4 hours from here. That's what he tells me all the time. I'm like, okay, cool, but that doesn't mean we're going to move there. Just because it's 4 hours away, honey. He's like, but it's not far. Oh my God, he kills me. He was so like bored during our 4th of July party towards the end of it. He was kind of bored and I said, Gene, are you having a good time? And he looked at me. I swear to God, this is what he's 8. He said, my disappointment is immeasurable.
He's so funny.
He's ridiculous. I was like, Gene, oh my God. It's just... Where did you even hear that? Like, my disappointment is immeasurable. I was like, okay, Mr. Darcy, go inside and play video games. Like, you're at home. Like, then you can do whatever you want to do.
So hilarious.
They go on this trip with it's Poppy and her boyfriend Trey.
They work together.
Yes, and Sarah and Alex. And they go on a trip together. They decide to do like a doubles vacation because that way Sarah won't be excluded and Trey won't be excluded. But Alex and Poppy will still get to spend some time together. And hopefully they'll make this new bond with each other as couples.
But, you know, going back to the Sarah thing, one of the things I did write down early on, I was like, I'm getting a very Victoria, Ted, Robin situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where it's like that, where Ted's hung up on Robin, but he's with...
From How I Met Your Mother, guys.
Yeah. But he's with Victoria. And it's one of those things, it's the same thing. And I think that is a really hard thing, but also a semi-realistic thing, because there's sometimes you just like, there's someone that you want to be with and you know that it will never happen. Situations where someone is just like, I'll always have feelings for that person, but I'll never get to be with them. So I just need to still like live my life and be happy.
This is an opinion that I have, and I feel very strongly about this as a married woman. I've been married for 10 years. It's when you are married and in a serious romantic relationship, it is not appropriate to spend long amounts of time, go on vacations with anyone of the opposite sex. That is not considerate to your partner. That's not okay to do that. Unless you guys have an open marriage or something like that, it's very disrespectful to do that. That's my opinion. There is not a conversation that Jared and I could have where he would be telling me that he has this lifelong friend who's a girl, and even want to like go out to dinner with her alone would not be appropriate. You just don't. Something just happens to the chemistry in your brain and you say, I'm not going to do that if you're in a monogamous relationship. So I would never do Jared the disrespect of doing something like that. And I would expect that from him to me. So for Sarah, I felt really bad for her because that's bullshit. Like, I'm going to go on vacation with another girl. And we've just been friends for 10 years or 7 years or however long it's been. It's just not appropriate.
Like, I see that to a degree, but then I'm also like, sometimes it is frustrating just because I do have a male platonic friend where there's like literally nothing sexual. And I'm like, no, can we normalize like platonic friendships?
No.
But we should be able to, though.
I disagree. It's just because there's always a chance that it can turn into something else. And that person that you should be confiding in and having those experiences with is your spouse. 100%.
Well, right. But there's different levels of friendship.
Right. But when you're married or you're in a very serious relationship, you just have to choose your partner. And those people that...
Right, but you can choose your partner while still having a friendship with someone.
For an example, if I had a long-term friend and we were best friends and he was a boy and I was with Jared, that friendship would just start to wilt and it wouldn't go away. But your partner becomes a lot of those things that your really close friends become over the years. Because they become your best friend and the person that you confide in, the person that you share things with, and you just naturally stop doing all those little things that you used to do with all those other people. I mean, you can still do some things with them, but your partner comes first, and their feelings and their thoughts come first. So,
and that can all stay.
There's no
with
way
the
that
friendship.
Sarah. No, but you can't though. Not when there's a possibility that you could have sex.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if there's not a possibility.
Right, but obviously there's a possibility that Poppy and Alex will have sex. They've been best friends forever. He's really actually in love with her. For Sarah, that should have been a no-brainer. Like, yeah, we can't do this anymore. We can't go on vacation. It's just not going to be the way that it was. Because just naturally things change. And
that's why they take that trip together with their significant others. Like, hey, we can still like have our cake and eat it too. Like, we can still do our thing, but we're going to bring, like, you're going to bring your boyfriend. I'm going to bring my girlfriend.
Right. And look what happened.
We're just going to have a fun.
But look what happened. Yeah. And that's what will happen. I mean, it's just too awkward. I would say, like, with you and Michael, I think it would be difficult. If I were your partner and I was a guy and you were doing stuff with Michael all the time, naturally what happens is you start to get jealous. You start to...
we don't hang out all the time. But
and it's somebody you used to have sex with.
But there's that's the caveat. That's like one of the main reasons why we didn't, like, our relationship didn't go for it, because we had zero sexual chemistry.
Right, but there's still that history there. And that can get in the way of progressing in the relationship that you're currently having or going to have. It can. I mean, I'm not saying it will.
Yeah.
Or that there's not people that will make that exception, like that it doesn't bother them. But I'm just saying that it causes problems.
For sure.
You've seen that up close.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm saying.
Somebody just losing their mind over nothing just because it's
too in their head.
Yeah, they're too in their head. It gets in the way of their relationship, and it almost becomes like a choice. And also, like, you never want that ultimatum. That's not healthy either.
No, it is the exception to the rule. Or, like, the exception, not the rule.
And I think that's
right. Well, and everybody
has
to be on the same page too.
Yeah.
Like, and it has to be a very specific set of circumstances to make it, like, copacetic.
Well, those conversations definitely need to happen. And I'm sure that there were conversations like that we didn't get to see between Alex and Sarah. I would have been interested to see some of those conversations.
Yeah,
like, how are you breaching this? Like, how are because especially women can be super jealous of each other. Men can too. Men can be more possessive, I think. But I'm sure that there was problems because of Poppy, for sure. From the beginning, I'm sure there was problems.
Well, I think that as close as they were up front, even if it kind of has that potential to risk the friendship, if you're having a feeling about it, like at the time where they were both single, like, why wouldn't you just say something then?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, early on. Because as you said, like, Alex was basically always in love with her.
Yeah.
So there were times where they were best friends and going on these trips where they were both single and available. So like, why not just like,
right.
So that was the only thing that did frustrate me. But having said that, it's also realistic to avoid things like that. But that did frustrate me. I'm like, just spit it out. Just say it. You're grown-ups. And then you can just like, if you don't feel the same way, that's okay. I'll get over it. Let's just still just be friends.
In Alex's defense, there is little things that are more painful than being in love with someone that does not have the same feelings for you. You have to try and find a way to move past that and still be friends while you're still in love with that person. Unrequited love hurts. My opinion is that if you're going through that, you should choose to stay single.
I agree.
And I'm not saying that if you love
But you can't
someone,
stay single forever.
No, of course not. For Alex, there's a lot of distance between them. It's a lot easier for him to say, okay, well, I'm just going to move forward with my life where I am now with this person. What I'm saying is it's okay to be alone for a while.
Oh, 100%.
I think that a lot of people are thinking, I don't want to be alone forever, so I'm going to try anything that comes my way that presents itself because this could be the person. It's all right to spend time with yourself and to be alone too.
Oh, and you should.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying about this book, though, but it's realistic, though.
Yeah. Well, and this happens over a very long period of time. 12 years is a long time. They're going to have relationships. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to have relationships. And also, sometimes, you know, they like, well, the best way to get over someone's to get under someone else. Yeah. You know, like because sometimes when you are hung up on someone, you don't think that there could be anybody else for you until you start to kind of date around. You're like, oh, actually, like, I'm getting feelings for you. And I'm able to kind of let that go. And sometimes you don't really know until you're in those situations.
Oh, absolutely. It's a part of growing up and dating in general, just finding what you want. If your heart is not in an open place and open to experiencing love with new people, that you should be single until you're ready for that.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
and there have been people that I've turned down, you know, in the past where we've like gone out on dates and had really nice dates. And then I just kind of was like, you know what? I just realized that I'm not over the last person I dated. So that's not really fair to you. So
I don't think Alex is this way by any means. But sometimes people, they just go from one person to the next person to the next. Like they don't
know how to be alone.
They don't know how to be alone. And that turns into, that's almost toxic. Because it's like, then you'll be with anybody that just comes along and it's not the person, it's not your person. It's okay to wait for your person. I mean, don't have unrealistic expectations. But also when you meet that person, you're going to know that there's something special about. I mean, when I met Jared, I knew right away. Not that we were going to get married or anything, but I was like, wow, this guy is special. But there were many years where I was alone. And that's okay.
I've mostly been alone.
I think that people should know that like being alone is okay. And even when you are in a marriage, you're not together all the time.
Yeah.
But if you don't love yourself and if you can't be comfortable being alone, it's never going to work. Anyways.
I say the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're not happy alone, another person's not going to fill that for you.
Exactly. So the couples go to Tuscany, and that's where we're at now. They all decide to go on vacation together. It's a groupcation. And things do not go according to plan, or they do for a while for most of the trip, but the last day, there is a situation.
There is a situation that arose. They're having a good time, but, you know, Poppy's not feeling well, and she realizes that there's a possibility that she could be pregnant because her period is late. So she goes and buys a few pregnancy tests, and she doesn't tell anybody. She doesn't tell Trey.
Nope. But she does tell Alex.
Well, he kind of finds her in the middle of the night by herself, and she's kind of crying, and she's kind of waiting for the test, and he kind of finds her, and she admits it to him, and he's like, okay, I'll wait with you, and she ends up not being pregnant.
Right.
But it's a really emotional moment for both of them.
Yeah, in a lot of different ways. Poppy is like, I don't even know if I want to ever have kids. She definitely doesn't want to have kids right now, and definitely not with Trey. And that's kind of an eye-opener for her. Like, wait a minute, I don't want to do, I don't want to think about a future with Trey.
Alex, and I actually have this written down because I loved the way that the author managed the timelines, because we learn earlier in the book that Alex lost his mother early. So we know that the whole book, but they never actually say how she died. And it's in that moment where Poppy is having that moment where we learn that his mother died in childbirth. It's actually a lot more common than we're number 3 in the world for maternal mortality. So it's just they are able to share this moment because it makes him very emotional too, because not only is he there with her, he's being supportive of her, and he's like, whatever happens, like, I'll be here for you, but he's also scared for her because he has that trauma related to pregnancy and childbirth.
He's afraid of someone, of her dying in labor. He realizes he's afraid of Poppy dying in labor.
And we find out later on in the book, when they're having a conversation too, after this happened, he got a vasectomy because he never wanted to risk accidentally getting someone pregnant before.
And killing them, which I thought was a little extreme. But I mean, also, I have no idea what that is like.
Yeah.
Like losing someone in that way, especially a parent. Like, he never really...
Well, and that's the thing. It wasn't a thing for him until Poppy was pregnant, and it occurred to him that, like, oh, that's how you could lose someone. Because for him, he did lose his most important woman in his life that way.
Right. But
very,
more
very
importantly, he gets a vasectomy without even talking to Sarah about it. And he's been thinking about...
Well, I think it was after they broke up, though. Because he and Sarah
because
broke up not long after this.
No, well, what he says in the end is he says that he tells Poppy, he says, I went out when I got home and had a panic attack and immediately went and got a vasectomy without even talking to Sarah about it. And then I realized that I didn't even consider consulting her, and he had bought an engagement ring for her and everything. Right. He was about to propose. And he said, oh my gosh, I'm more concerned with what Poppy might need from me if we were to ever accidentally have sex. Why am I even thinking about this and not even thinking about Sarah? And he realizes that he cares a lot more for Poppy, and he just breaks up with Sarah, and she's like crushed and doesn't really understand why this happened in this way. And then he tells Poppy that she broke up with him because he was boring. Like, he wasn't honest with Sarah and didn't have those conversations with Sarah that he needed to have. And then the guilt from that pretty much just prompted him, like, okay, this is not a relationship. I don't need to be in a relationship with anybody right now, which is kind of like what we were talking about.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. That's what you were saying. He does do the right thing, and he breaks things off with Sarah because, he didn't, like you said, he didn't even realize.
But he lies to Poppy about it and doesn't have that conversation with her. And I was like, I actually was wondering the whole time. I wasn't sure if you would like the book because there is so much miscommunication. There is a lot.
That was the only thing that got frustrating to me at times. I think the only thing that kept me from, like, over the top hating that was how realistic some of it was. Like, towards the end, not as much. But through these moments, there are those moments of miscommunication, but they're understandable / realistic. Because it's complicated.
It is complicated.
It's not just... And the stakes are really high for both of them.
Yes.
So, I mean, I do think towards the end, I'm like, okay, just
do it.
Say, like, the falling out has already happened. Like, we don't need to keep pussyfooting around. Like, you already know what it's like to not be in each other's lives. Like, just fucking rip the Band-Aid. But in these early years, it's frustrating, but I'll understand, because they're also not on the same page.
Right.
As Alex is falling for Poppy is not thinking that way about Alex at all. She's thinking more about her career, all these things that she wants to do.
Like you do when you're in college, and then you go out and you start to pursue, and Poppy ends up not finishing college and just pursuing her traveling because she's got some opportunities that come up because of her blog and everything. So she kind of exits college and doesn't finish, and Alex does finish and becomes a teacher. Like their lives go in very different directions.
Well, and they also want very different things from their lives. Like,
yeah, she wants to live in New York, and
like Alex wants to settle down and have a family, and she wants to go. It's the Ted and Robin. It really is. Like, Poppy wants to go have her career, and he wants to settle down and have babies. And
yeah, he's not obsessed with it though, like Ted is.
I mean, right?
Yeah. It's just something that he wants for himself. He wants to have a home and a family. It's something that he yearns for. And Poppy, I don't think that Poppy doesn't want a family, but right now
it's just not on her radar yet.
Yeah, she's young. She wants to. Yeah, she wants to live it up. She wants to travel, and she wants that to be her career, the traveling. Which, by the way, is, I think that kind of a job takes a special kind of person. I would not.
It does.
I mean, as much 100%. As I would love probably traveling and writing stuff about traveling and how fun that would be, it would also be very exhausting, I think, to be a jet setter and and do all that stuff.
I find it exhausting traveling for pleasure. Like, I went on a 4-day trip and I was like, oh, I'm good.
I get tired on vacation. Vacation is not always the most restful thing. Like, there's usually plans and a lot of shit you have going on during vacation, and you're not in a place that is normal. You're not sleeping normally usually. It's just not always the most restful time. It can be.
It can be. And luckily this last trip that I took, it actually was quite restful. Like, it was super relaxing. I slept really good, and it was just like the recharge that I needed. But there are definitely some vacations where you're just like, I am so exhausted. I need a vacation for my vacation.
A vacation is not always a vacation when, while you're there, you're constantly working, which is what Poppy's doing when she's on vacation. She's got cameramen with her. She has like an entourage of people that go everywhere with her.
Only on that one trip, not early on. But
not early on, but after her blog takes off and she starts working for R&R, the magazine, and they start doing the sponsored trips that are paid for. There's people that are with them all the time. How weird.
Enter Croatia, because that's the first and only time that there is someone accompanying them on their trip. And they're separate rooms, but this guy just assumes that he and Alex are going to room together. This is when it kind of like started to frustrate me a little bit. Because the entire book we've been building up to what happened in Croatia. And it's the way that it's talked about, the way that it's referenced. It's like, it was so huge that they couldn't come back from it. Like, their 10-year friendship couldn't come back from whatever happened in Croatia. Like, it caused them to not be on speaking terms. So I was thinking like a huge fight.
Yeah.
Or like an unrequited love situation. Like, what happened that was so bad? And all it really ends up
being really small.
And it's just not even a big deal at all. Like, they get drunk and Alex sneaks over to her room and they are laughing or whatever. And they just, that typical moment where like, oh, we're in a fit of laughter and all of a sudden we're making out. And he stops and he's like, okay, well, we're drunk. We probably shouldn't do this. And she's like,
because he's thinking, this means way more to me than like just a drunken night. This is not the way that I want to be with you for the first time. And she's like, what's wrong? She's like, why not? Fine.
Like, let's just, because he also, not only does he like not want that to be their first interaction, but he also is very hyper aware of how he feels about it. And I think even then he's like, this is going to mean a lot more to me than it does for her. And I don't know if I can cope with having a sliver of that and then not being able to keep it. So I need to stop things now before I get to a point of no return where I'm going to like not be able to emotionally come back from this. Yeah. Yeah, so he stops it.
They kind of go their separate ways after that vacation like they always do. And then
And this is where the miscommunication was like, because the next day he made it sound like, oh, it was no big deal. And she's like, oh. And that disappoints Poppy because she was like, oh, our relationship has changed now. Like, we're going to maybe delve into us being romantic. And he's too scared to say it. And then when he kind of puts up a wall, she's like, oh, well, I guess he doesn't really feel that way about me. So if they had at that point
talked about it,
just talked about it, like, hey, listen, we've been friends for 10 years. I have feelings for you, but like, if you don't feel the same way, like, let's just not even, we can just go back to being what it is. Like, that would have been the time to do it. That one frustrated me.
But they didn't, and they just went home, and then things were super awkward, and they just gradually stopped talking.
They just stopped talking. It wasn't like this big falling out the way that it kind of built it up to be.
But also that's really realistic too.
You're right.
Yeah,
it is.
Because that's like usually how, I mean, sometimes that's, you just stop being friends because either something gets in the way or life gets in the way, and then you just, oh, I'll get back with them later, and then you don't. Before you know it, 2 weeks has gone by, 6 months has gone by, a year has gone by, and you haven't really talked to that person that you were very close to. It takes a lot of work to be friends long distance too. Sometimes a long time will pass before you talk, but it's not always easy to just pick up where you left off.
True.
Know?
Especially when, like,
where you left
they're
off
basically
is
both
a bad place.
Yeah, they're basically just avoiding each other, playing like relationship chicken. It just turns into that thing that you avoid it for so long that it becomes a bigger thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also both, and this is realistic, even equally frustrating, they both make assumptions about how the other one is feeling, and just like, well, I'll just call it here and not risk getting more hurt, because they obviously don't care that much if they're fine with it, and they kind of both assume those things about each other.
Right.
Whereas if they had just like
talked about it,
and those conversations can be really hard to have, but like, it's more understandable when you're younger. But at this stage in your 30s, like,
fast forward to now, whooshum. We are
I love whooshum.
We go back to the hotel. It's been a few days of this blistering, painful heat, and now it's getting close to the triple digits. It's the hottest day it's been yet, and Poppy cannot get a hold of the guy that is supposed to come and fix the AC. She's been calling him frantically. He's not picking up the phone. He's ignoring her calls. She's like, shit. And Alex says, you know what? We need to just go and get a hotel. Like, it's time. We can't stay here. It's too hot to do anything, to even sleep.
Also, the second night they were there, Alex threw out his back, so he's also been holed up at that place.
Oh yeah, hot.
For like a whole day, because his back went out and he had a spasm, which as a person in their 30s is like the most realistic representation. Like, oh yeah, I'm on vacation, we're gonna have a great day. I'm like, oh no, my back, I fucked it.
And she's like, no, I just want, we're supposed to do this the way that we always used to do this at the beginning, do an old-fashioned trip. Her goal is to like basically rekindle their friendship the way that it was by going through a vacation the way that they used to. And Alex says to her, Poppy, stop. He yells at her. It's never going to be the way that it used to be. Too much has happened. Too much time has passed. It's never going to be the same. It's just different now. And that is such an honest thing to say, and it's such a hard thing to hear.
Yeah.
And I think that at that moment, Poppy has like a crash out moment.
Because I think she was really banking on this quite a bit, and she's kind of in denial because she's also so afraid of moving their relationship forward, even in a friendship capacity, that she's just, and that's also so realistic too, is like sometimes you cling to the past because that's where it felt
good. Yeah.
Good. And you're like, oh, if I could just rebottle that, recapture that. And like you said, like, it's never going to be that way. We're grown. We're different people. We are in our 30s and we are different versions of ourselves than.
And also we had that moment in Croatia, like that things have happened that have changed our relationship, and Poppy's having a hard time coming to terms with that. But then they have this crazy moment where as they're yelling at each other and they're about to have a heat stroke, it just starts raining.
Ugh,
just starts pouring down rain, and they run out onto the balcony. yes, finally some
And
like
she's like ripping the
relief.
protective thing off the window. She's like, I need to be outside because there's like a protective
sheet of some kind, like
sheet
a
or
plastic
something.
sheet.
And he's
yeah.
like, what are you doing? We won't get our paws back. She's like, I don't care. I need air on me.
Yes, and then they have a moment and they actually start to kiss.
In the rain, of course.
Are you sure? And she's like, I don't know, time when I wasn't sure. I don't know. It's like a weird thing like that. And then they just start boning on the plastic.
Yep. Just right out on the balcony. They're just like...
It's so fast and rough and raw. Like, it happens so fast. They're like, okay, let's do it. We're doing it.
Like,
you know?
fuck it. Just fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, oh my god, it's finally happening. It has to happen. This has to happen. And it does. It does happen.
It does. They do it.
And it's like the best sex she's ever had.
What happens exactly?
They have sex.
Well, I know, but like, yeah, but like, this is where we get, this is probably the spiciest scene we get, is that scene.
Yeah, there's like one other little one. But
yeah, but it's not super graphic.
No.
Like some of the smut that you read out there, or even some of the contemporary romance that you read. I thought it was very PG. I actually recommended this to Olivia because it's really not super heavy on the sex. It's just kind of a very small serving.
And it's like a page like that's easily skippable if you want to move on to.
Yes. So,
after.
And as soon as they're done, they're like, wow, that was amazing. And then there's a knock on the door.
Knock, knock, knock.
I'm here to fix the AC. I got 1 million messages. And it's the guy to come to fix the AC. And they're like, oh no. And they have this moment of trying to throw on all their clothes. Like, where's my bra? Like one of those moments, you know?
And like, we've been trying to get a hold of you for 3 days. And now we're post-coitus and now you show up.
We're post-coitus. That fucking word.
And at the end of the day, basically, he's like, I'm not able to fix it. I'm going to refund you and I'll put you up in a hotel. So they end up at a hotel anyway.
Right.
Which, if it had been me, I would one afternoon of not having the AC, I'm like, we're getting a hotel. That would have been me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would have been that night. I would have been like, this isn't going to work.
I will take out a new credit card if I have to. Like, I am not doing this.
I can't sleep in the heat.
Absolutely not.
So they get a hotel. They go to the wedding. He's very openly affectionate with her out in public, which is something that has previously made him very uncomfortable.
Because now they're like, we're together.
Yeah. And he's super excited and happy to like be together because it's what he's always wanted to do. And he's super against PDA. It's something that he's been very vocal about, public displays of affection. And so he's holding her hand and she's like, whoa, this is weird. You know, they kind of have this really serious discussion where Poppy finds out from someone at the wedding that he had been about to propose to Sarah and didn't, and that it was Poppy that caused him to break up with her. And she realizes that he had not been honest with her about their breakup. And they have this tense conversation where Alex basically tells her, you're everything to me. That's why I broke up with Sarah, because I knew that even Sarah wouldn't be able to curb me from being there for you if you needed me. I would literally drop anything for you. And I didn't think that was fair to her. And that's why I broke up with her. So in a way, I guess you were responsible, but it's me. It just wasn't right for me. It wasn't going to work for me. And they've had all these mornings where they're cuddling together and sleeping together, and they're finding out how they sleep alongside each other and things like that. And then they get together and they have their goodbye at the airport, and they have a really rough goodbye.
Yeah, because the dust has settled. The honeymoon is over, and now it's like, okay, but what does real life look like? I live in New York. You live in Ohio. Like, what is this? You know? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? So many voices ringing in my ears, which is the voice that I was meant to hear. How will I know? Where do I go from here? Oh my gosh. I love that song.
It's a great song.
That's from Pocahontas 2, guys.
So random.
So random.
Are you impressed that I also knew it?
No, you're like an elephant. You remember everything. Yeah. So, sorry.
So they're kind of just like trying to have this like realistic moment of like, what is this going to look like? Are you quitting your job? Am I quitting? Like, how are we going to do this? And Poppy, you know, she's just in the moment. This is great. This is fun, but like she has not thought about the future the way that Alex does. And thinking about the future is what has always stopped Alex from making any sort of move with Poppy, because he does think in that zoomed out, what would our lives look like? Because if our lifestyles don't mesh up, then we don't make sense. How would we be together? Whereas Poppy just feels in the moment. So for her, she's like, I'm so happy we're finally together. And he's like, okay, so now what? And she's like, what do you mean now what?
She also tells him, I told my friend that I was unhappy, and she was like, when was the last time you were happy? And I was like, oh, it was when I was with Alex. So I thought maybe I just needed to go on vacation with you and like find myself again. And he takes that completely the wrong way, but also doesn't take it the wrong way.
Right. So he's like, so basically you're just trying to use me for what?
Yeah.
Like, is this real for you? Or are you just trying to reclaim something? Like, this is you just having fun? He's like, I should never. And now he's regretting it.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, if it obviously meant something different to me than it did to you, if, you know, you were just experimenting on your feelings, you know, whereas like, and in that moment, he admits to her all these past moments and what they meant to him. And it completely reframes it for Poppy because she had no idea. And some of those things that she had reacted to in the past that he had taken one way, she had not meant them that way, and vice versa. So again, in a realistic way, they're also discovering that if they'd have just talked to each other,
right,
because they made assumptions about how the other one was feeling and then acted accordingly instead of just like, this is how I'm feeling about it. How are you feeling about it?
Right. Yeah. And so and Alex gets kind of angry here, and he's like, this means everything to me. This is like life-changing for me. And what is it for you? Just a vacation from your life?
Yeah.
And he gets really angry, and she's like, no, let's talk about this. But they really don't have to. And that's the suspenseful part, because they don't have time to talk. They've got to catch their flights.
Yep.
They're both going different places. And she's like, well, as soon as I land, we need to talk. And he's like, actually, I need some space. And I think it's best that we not talk for a while. And Poppy is just devastated. She ends up bawling in the airport.
And she's like, how did we go from being like so euphoric to this?
And she's like, man, we're back to square one. We're back at Croatia.
Yep.
Basically. And she goes home, goes back to work. She's kind of like a zombie. She's in a really bad funk. And her boss pulls her into the office. What's going on with you? Like, you just don't seem like yourself. And she's like, I'm really going through a hard time, and I don't know if I'm happy. I don't know why I'm not happy. I don't know where my life is going. And she kind of tells her to maybe she should go and talk to a therapist. So Poppy goes and talks to a therapist,
which happens to be her best friend Rachel's mom. We find out that Alex also started seeing a therapist because they just need to figure their shit out and how they need to communicate not only with each other, but also how to figure themselves out and figure out the issues that they also have just from their own traumas in their lives and how that has affected the way that they interact with each other.
Right. Mm-hmm. His therapist tells him that she thinks that he's afraid to be happy, basically. That he puts up roadblocks to stop things from progressing when they get too real.
Because he's afraid of losing them, which is true. And Poppy, she had her teenage years and her high school years were not pleasant for her. Like Lita said, she was really bullied in that high school, and that high school is where Alex works now. And so she just has all these terrible memories, and she just associates all those things with that place, with that town, with that school. And she has this moment in New York getting off the train where she runs into one of her bullies in New York. He happens to be there on a business trip, and it throws her for a loop because he's like a nice guy now, and he actually apologizes to her. And he said, it's not cool the way that we treated you back then. And, I always felt guilty about it. And she's realizing that she's also just clung on to that hurt and not moved on from it. And it's made her realize that those interactions made her feel sad and lonely, and those people that she meets on vacation made her feel good about herself, made her feel like she belonged somewhere, and gave her a sense of self. So she's also realized like it wasn't just about Alex, but also just connection with other people, which she had, felt devoid of that
and also avoided at many times. Yeah. Okay, so she decides, this is not what I want. I want to be with Alex. So she quits her job and she moves home.
Well, she doesn't move home. She visits. She's like, I'm going to give my 2-week notice, but I'm going to go on a hiatus. I'm just going to do some freelance stuff for now, but I need to go talk to Alex. So she goes on vacation. She takes a trip. She flies down there. Her parents pick her up, and even though she vowed to never step foot in the high school ever again, that's where Alex is. And she goes there, but he's gone already. And that's where she runs into Sarah, because Sarah is also a teacher there.
Right. And they have a very tense conversation. And that's the conversation we were talking about earlier, where Sarah's like, well, fine, Poppy. And Poppy kind of apologizes to her for what happened, and because she feels responsible in a way. And Sarah...
It ends on a good note.
Yeah,
Sarah
it does end on a good note. And she tells her where Alex is, and he's in the bar right around the corner, which is where all the teachers go after school, and they chat, visit, have a couple of beers sometimes. And so she just goes over to the bar, and she has a monologue.
The classic rom-com, I'm in love with you, Alex Nelson. Also, I really hate that. Like, I hate the first and last name. Like, whenever that happens, I'm always like, no one says that.
Oh,
Lita
yeah, right?
Stetler, I love you.
I love you, Lita Stetler.
Like, Tiffany Petrie, I must have you. Like, that's so weird. Every time I see it, I think that that's so weird, and like nobody does that in real life.
Alex is like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna work for me. And she goes and runs out to her car.
I actually, when that happened, she was like, hey, can I talk to you? And he's like, sure. And instead of just like waiting for them to be in private, she just says all of that shit in front of all of his colleagues.
Oh yeah, at the bar. Like, ew.
That is so awkward. Like, why is it? I'm like, oh my god, we almost made it to the end without cringe. It's so cringy.
It's so long. The
so
monologue
long too.
She's like going on and on about why she loves him, how she loves him. Anyway, he comes out. He follows her out to the car. And he's like, wait, Pappy. And she's like, what?
Papa, don't go.
Papa, don't go, Pappy. And she's like, why? Why should I stay? Or whatever. And they have a whole conversation. He's like, look, like, I can't just be like I can't be the only thing that makes you happy. Like, that's not enough for either of us.
Yeah, and he's like, we don't work, like.
And she says, page 303, Poppy says to him, it's not your job to make me happy, okay? You can't make anyone happy. I'm happy just because you exist. And that's as much of my happiness as you have control over.
I loved that.
Mm-hmm. So she basically tells him, like, that's not why. That's not the, like, you do make me happy, but it's not just you that makes me happy.
And she's like, whatever it takes, like, you asked me what it would take for me to be with you, like, what I would be willing to give up and everything. Like, I hate it here. I do not want to live here, and I really love living in New York, but if that's what I need to do to be with you, we'll live in your grandma's house, and we'll put new wallpaper on it,
and I'll come to the school, and I'll come to your pep rallies and your football games.
Just want to be with you.
Yeah. They decide they're going to give it a shot. And oddly enough, Alex says, no, you don't want to be here. And I just want to be wherever you are. So he decides to quit his job and move back with her to New York.
Yep. And we get a sweet little epilogue, a little cheesy, but cute. We get to kind of see them. And it kind of talks about their day-to-day in New York and them learning about being with each other as a couple and the little things that they like, things that frustrate them, just in a realistic way. And then they live happily ever after.
On page 312, it's the very fact that it's finite that makes traveling special.
Finite?
Finite. That makes traveling special. Finite. Well, I said infinite. Infinite. So I said finite. Stupid. I'm gonna start over. Page 312 is the very fact that it's finite. That makes traveling special. You could move to any one of those destinations you loved in small doses, and it wouldn't be the spellbinding, life-altering 7 days you spent there as a guest, letting a place into your heart fully, letting it change you.
So true.
End of line.
Bravo.
We just watched Tron with my dad. And that's something the master computer always says when he's done talking. He goes, end of line. And I was like, that is going to be my new saying when I hang up the phone.
I love it. I've never actually seen
end of line.
That. Copy over. End of line. I like it. I liked that Alex didn't immediately go, oh, puppy, I love you too. Let's be happy together. Like, he's just, like, very realistic about, like, I don't know, man. This feels really scary, and also lifestyle differences.
And also, this is really weird. You're doing this in front of all my friends, and I'm embarrassed.
I was like, oh, we almost made it without cringe. Almost.
Well, also, he's super, like,
shy. Yeah.
Shy with PDA, and these are his colleagues.
And she's just professing his love and saying all these things, and it's a little bit cringy, the speech.
Yeah. It's definitely a speech that was meant for private.
Like, it's one thing to say all those things in private, but like the public monologue of love declaration, I was like, you missed it by that much, Emily.
And I love that he basically was like, this was weird.
Yeah, like
because that's so real. That's how a real person would act. Yeah.
And at the end, she basically, like, she's like, okay, well, I just had to tell you, and like she basically says, like, after all this time of not being honest, like, I'm not sorry that I told you how I felt. And then she walks out.
She's like, okay. Oh, shit. Okay.
Well, I don't have any more notes, do you?
No. I think, guys, we did it. We reached the end of our book discussion.
We did.
Did you like People We Meet on Vacation?
Let us know.
Let us know. But in the meantime, we're going to do quotes And then we're going to do 1-star ratings, 5-star ratings, and our final thoughts and rating, and then our group rating. And it sounds like a lot, but it moves fast. Let's go.
Cue the music.
Cue the quotes.
Quotes. Quotes. What?
I only have 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I have more than that. I'll go first.
All right.
This is after their workout class. Poppy's friend Rachel says this on page 37. Now let's get some juice. That cheese board has basically formed a cork in my butthole, and everything's just piling up behind it.
Ew. This is
like,
mine.
wow.
Page 69. I was rooming with Isabel, a pre-med student who sometimes looked over Alex's and my shoulders and correct our work while crunching on celery, her alleged favorite food. And my note is a psychopath.
Who likes celery?
It says celery's her favorite food.
Celery is just crunchy water with hair in it.
It's more like string than hair. It's like super, I don't know. I was like, what a psychopath. Who fucking likes celery? I mean, I like celery, but it's definitely not a favorite.
Yeah, that's sad if celery is your absolute favorite food.
That was my first note.
This is when they're making jokes about the Ford Aspire. That is a piece of crap, the car that they rented. Page 80. It aspires to have working air conditioning, Alex says. It aspires not to smell like a butthole that's smoking a blunt, I say.
Got another butthole.
It aspires to live long enough to see the end of all human suffering, I add. This car, Alex says, isn't going to live long enough to see the end of the Star Wars franchise. But who among us will, I say.
Page 48. I interrupt myself as it dawns on me. The thing I hate. Running! I hate running. I got a C in gym class in high school because I forgot my gym clothes at home so often. And I was like, oh, same girl, same.
I also had that quote because of that's me too.
I hate it.
I'm gonna keep, I hate
it. I don't want to run.
I'm gonna finish the rest of that quote because Alex laughs. He goes, "It's just funny. I love running." Seriously? I cry. You hate the very concept of cover songs, yet love the feeling of your feet pounding against pavement and rattling your whole skeleton while your heart jackhammers in your chest and your lungs fight for breath. That's exactly how I feel about running. I hate it. I find it so stressful. Okay, this is during their San Francisco trip, and Poppy's getting a little bit drunk, and Alex is trying to take her picture. Page 143. I was tipsy by then, and when he knelt right in the dried out dirt in his light gray pants to take a photo, I almost fell over laughing at the bizarre angle he had chosen for the picture. Too many wine, I said, gasping for breath. Too many wine? He repeated, delighted and disbelieving. And as I fell into a crouch in the middle of the aisle, laughing my head off, he took a few more pictures from way down low. Pictures that would make me look like a sassily dressed skin triangle. I don't understand.
That's weird. That's a weird thing to say.
Right? But too many wine? Too many wine.
Page 100, this is my last quote. Lita is an easy laugher, which I've always thought was a criminally underappreciated trait. Thank you, I do laugh easily. That was it. Well, I just loved it because, like we said earlier, I've never seen my name in a book like this. Like, this is the first time that I've ever seen it with the spelling.
It's so great.
I mean, my name is not one you find on pencils at the gas station, okay?
No.
No.
I wrote down, representation matters. This is when they're at a music venue. Page 177. I'm sorry for being so tall, he says over the metal music thrumming through the bar. I'm sorry for being so short, I say. I like you short, he says. Never apologize for being short.
Aww.
I thought that was sweet. And I'm short, so I was like, thank you, Alex.
It's all you, hot stuff.
I have 2 more. All right. Wow, look at me. I have 2 more. This is the exact right response. Normalize bosses who respond like this. This is when Poppy has the pneumonia and she has to cancel one of her trips and she just feels super bad about it. And she's like trying to kiss her boss's ass over it.
Well, it's not just that. She just got hired too.
Yeah.
Like she's newly hired.
Page 241. This sort of thing happens. Don't beat yourself up about it. And Poppy, when this happens again, which it will, don't go in so hard on the apology. You are not the master of your immune system, and I can assure you that when your male colleagues have to cancel a trip, they show no indication that they feel they have personally wronged me. Don't encourage people to blame you for something beyond your control. You're a fantastic writer, and we're lucky to have you. Now get yourself to the doctor and enjoy some true R&R. We'll speak about next steps when you're on the mend. Like, can we normalize that? Like, that's how any boss should react.
Right, yeah.
And they don't.
Nope. No, they do not.
This is my final quote, and this is just the most me thing. By the way, if we're gonna, like, pick a character from this book that matches your personality, I'm definitely Alex in this book.
Yeah.
Like if I was gonna take which character from People on Vacation are you? I'm Alex. Okay.
I'm Leda.
The river rafting guy? That would be hilarious.
The river rafter that used to do drugs. That's me.
I would pay money to try to see you on a river raft.
Yeah, okay. I'd be dead in like 5 minutes.
I know, that's why I would pay.
Yeah, no. I'd fall off the raft before we even left the station.
I know. I wrote, I am so Alex in this book, LOL. This is when their air conditioning is broken in the Airbnb. Page 232. Poppy, Alex says, I think we should check into a hotel. And this is that scene you were talking about earlier where she's like, well, let's just do everything like normal. And he just blows up. We have to, he says. That's not how this is supposed to go. What are you talking about? He says. We're supposed to do it like we used to. We're supposed to be keeping things cheap and rolling with the punches. We have rolled with a lot of punches, Alex insists. Hotels cost money, I say, and we're already going to have to drop $200 on that horrible car to get a new tire. You know what costs money, he says? Hospitals. We're going to die if we stay here.
It's so
like
real.
That would be me. Like, I am literally going to die if I can't get into some air conditioning. I'm serious. All right, that's it. That's all my quotes.
Yay, quotes!
Quotes! Would you like some Goodreads stats?
I would like some Goodreads stats.
And would you also like them to come with 1-star reviews?
I would also like 1-star reviews.
Oh, perfect. Here we go.
Oh, jolly good.
Jolly good.
Oh, holy crap! What an idiot. Oh my god, that was terrible.
Oh, it was so bad.
This is trash.
Currently on Goodreads, People We Meet on Vacation stands, at the time that I looked this up, a 3.85 with over 1.4 million ratings.
Wow.
And over 138,000 reviews. The majority of those being 4 stars. Over 583,000.
That's pretty impressive. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Second place being 5 stars at 27%. And just 1% is 1 stars, but that's still over 23,000 people.
That's a lot.
So, yeah. So, here we go. Jess Grayson says, very concerned about Poppy's hygiene habits. And I did not understand what that meant.
What?
Like,
okay.
Can you think of anything from the book?
No.
That was
weird.
concerning?
No.
right? I thought
No.
that was like, did we read the same book?
Yeah, that's weird.
Elizabeth Plant-Based Bride says, reading this book is like seeing your preteen cousin at Christmas and them telling you about every single inside joke they ever had with their BFF in one long run-on sentence as you feel your last brain cell suffocate and die. Bruna says, I almost gave this 2 stars because I thought that giving it 1 star would be too harsh. But after some thinking, I realized there is not a single thing about this book that I enjoyed. The characters? No. The plot? No. The romance? Also no. So obviously, it doesn't deserve a higher rating.
Okay.
Simran says, I aspire never to think about this book again. Rashmi says, this book sucked, and romance books are usually at least mid, and I don't think I've ever hated one as much as this. This book shouldn't exist. I wanted to DNF this one, but I tried really hard and pushed through because I thought there might be something worth reading at the end. There wasn't. All caps. If any of y'all want to read this, please don't. It's a total waste of time, and I regret it.
Oh, he hated it.
Ange says, my God, this was such a miss for me. I have realized there are a few tropes I really hate in chick lit romance / YA. The manic pixie dream girl plus the solid reliable dude. Just gag me with a spoon. I am so uninterested in this pairing in contemporaries especially.
Why don't you carve my heart out with a spoon?
With a spoon. Evoli says, this book, this story, and the 2 main characters, male and female, style and degree of friendship, cough cough, is exactly why my future partner cannot have a female friend. Like, abso-frickin-lutely not. Couldn't be me. Y'all stay safe, though.
Told you.
Candace says, Poppy and Alex are 2 of the blandest characters I've ever had to read about. There's probably more flavor in a glass of water that's been on your bedside table for a few days. Alex is boring as fuck. The whole sad puppy dog face? No. Plus, this man got a vasectomy after Poppy has a pregnancy scare with her boyfriend. Okay. Oh, and I'd swipe right for you is not a swoon-worthy statement. Honestly, fuck these 2 idiots. Con R says, now that I finally finished, I can officially say the number of people they met on vacation can be counted on one hand. I randomly stumbled upon the fact that in some regions this book is titled You and Me on Vacation, a much more boring title that fits this story like a glove. Last one. Sleth Flower says, this may be the worst book all year. IDK how female writers can create female leads that feed into misogyny so much. 12 years of subpar lovemaking and this is how it's supposed to feel. Are you kidding me? What woman waits 12 years to take control of her sex life?
Jesus. That's intense.
It's not Poppy's fault that was the best sex she had. I take personal offense to that. Like, most guys aren't that good in bed, actually. At least in my experience.
I have no comment. I have no comment.
I have literally never had sex that blew my mind.
Put that on the bucket list.
It is. It's been there my whole life. No one has given me a better orgasm than I've given myself.
Jared's the best in bed I've ever had, so I'm very happy with that.
I love that for you.
I love that for me too. Oh my. Okay. Would you like to hear some 5-star reviews?
I would love to hear some 5-star reviews.
Would you?
Would I ever?
Here we go.
There it is. Dear God, it's beautiful.
Rocked my ass off. Practically perfect in every way.
Absolutely bloody brilliant.
Okay, best book ever!
All right, 5-star reviews. Coming in at second place is the 5 stars. Nearly 400,000 at 27%. rated this book 5-star reviews. 5 stars. Here we go.
5 stars.
5 stars.
You did it.
I did it, friend. Okay, Jessica says, a much needed palate cleanser.
Nice.
Chan says, love an anxious little stoic man. Cindy says, this is how you do friends to lovers.
Aw.
Yes. Abby Jimenez says, yes, this is like the Abby Jimenez, guys. This is her review.
Whoa. I really want to read her too.
Yeah, I know. She's going to be on season 3. Have you ever read a book that makes you wish you could unread it, forget everything, and read it again for the first time? My book hangover from this one is going to kill me. I'm so sad it's over. I loved it so much. I want to listen to the audiobook and find a signed copy and watch every Zoom appearance the author does on to talk about the book because it made my heart so ridiculously happy.
Aw, I love that.
Right?
That's high praise.
Gabby says, shit, this was cute. I wasn't sure if this book would be my thing because I was hyped for Beach Read, and it ended up being pretty disappointing. And I'm really not a big fan of the friends to lovers trope. It's one of my least favorites, but I adore this book. Alex is one of the softest love interests ever, and I thought him and Poppy were so cute. Their friendship was so genuine, and their banter was so great.
Love that.
Aww. And that's my last one. Lisa says, literally ripping my hair off because I can't do this anymore. I yearn, anguish for a love like Poppy's and Alex's.
Oh, yay.
Yay, 5-star reviews.
5-star reviews. Love that.
Ready for final thoughts?
Ready.
And our group ratings?
Final thoughts and group ratings. I'm ready.
All right, you go first.
Me?
You!
May?
You!
Alrighty then. We're so transatlantic in this episode.
So old Hollywood, friend.
Well, here's what I had to say about it. All right, I'm done. As a first-time Henry reader, I definitely went in managing my expectations, but I have to say that I enjoyed this book so much more than I expected to. It was a really refreshing read to me. I loved how she took the time to flesh out Poppy and Adam's friendship and relationship. She gave us so many glimpses through so many different periods and timelines weaved together. It was just all done very masterfully, I thought. I felt invested in these characters. I definitely wanted more spice than there was, but that's just me. After all that tension, I wanted like a little bit more payoff. But it did frustrate me that the thing that kept them apart really boiled down to them just not talking to each other in the end. Was it the most like amazing book I've ever read? No, but I really enjoyed it. And coming off of some poorly written books, it was just the breath of fresh air that I was looking for. I plowed through it so quickly. I just kind of ate it up. And I've actually I don't think I've ever actually read a Friends to Lovers book before. And I thought it was really, really well done. It did get a little cringy at the end. We almost made it through all the way. Realistic, 4 stars. Solid 4 for me.
Right. Okay. I did end up enjoying this book. I was a little put off by Poppy and Alex at times, but it wasn't that bad. It just brought up some questions for me about respect in relationships and like showing respect to your partner, even if you have feelings for somebody else. I'm really big on that kind of stuff. Just honest and open communication. So that was something that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. But I do like the way it was resolved in the end. I like that Poppy apologized to Sarah. I like that there was some conversations that really needed to be had and some soul searching that involved therapy, which I think is very healthy. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. and figure out what's going on in your head. You know, it's a lot of, when you're dealing with trauma and feelings, sometimes it's a lot to sift through, and you might just need somebody else's opinion. I thought Poppy and Alex were sweet. I thought it was a romantic, steady, slow burn. There was a lot of tension, which is always good. I like the tension. Yes. And there was also really great resolution with that tension. Like, it didn't just leave you hanging. You got to see a little bit of what their life looked like after the fact. I really enjoyed that. I would recommend it for people who enjoy romance in general, especially if you like the friends to lovers trope. It was a unique romance, and it didn't blow my socks off, but I did enjoy it. So my rating is 4 stars.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Group rating 4 stars.
4 stars, everybody.
We did it.
Yay!
Yay! People we meet on vacation.
What did you guys think? Did you enjoy it? What did you rate it? We want to hear from you.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
That was really fun.
Yay!
What are we reading next, Lita?
We are reading A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. That is going to be our September selection.
Yes.
And guys, we have Patreon. Bookmates After Dark. And we are going to be doing next month The Merman's Kiss by Tamsin Lee and the second half of Get in My Swamp. So check us out on Patreon. We're on Bookmates After Dark over there. And we're going to have a lot of content over there, some extra episodes. And this month on Patreon, we've already come out with War by Laura Thalassa.
Such a fun time.
Oh my gosh, so fun, guys.
Such a fun time.
We have ambiance pairing for that.
Yeah, so if you pop over to Patreon, you'll find those fun extra bonuses if you would like them.
And we also came out with Get in My Swamp by GM Fairy. So we've got that, our part 1.
It's a very special kind of episode,
yes,
which you will discover once you get. It's very different from our normal type of episode. We'll say that.
Yes.
You'll be pleasantly or you'll be surprised either way.
Yeah, you'll definitely be surprised.
It is a time. It is quite a time.
Yes. So check us out on Patreon. We're really excited about that. We've got some exciting stuff planned. It's so
fun
time. It's fun. So
I honestly literally don't know how we got through recording it, to be honest.
I know. A Curse Carved in Bone, though, is going to be our September selection for book club.
So excited.
And it is a sequel to A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, which we read in April. So if you want to continue that series with us, check us out in September, on September 30th. We'll be coming out with that. Read with us.
Yes. Read with us. And just like always, if you have any rant or raves about this book, our last book, the future book, we want to know all of it. So please email us. And if you'd like, we'll read it on the podcast.
Right?
It's like we say over here. It's book club. We want your tea, even if we don't agree. I made that up.
You can find us at our website, bookmatespodcast.com. You can email us on our Gmail, which is bookmatespcast@gmail.com.
Alrighty then.
All right. Well, oh my gosh, it's kind of early. Well, it's 11:30 here.
Is this like the earliest we've ever wrapped up?
No. The Merman's Kiss was like an hour.
Yeah.
We're done with that in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it was still late.
Yeah.
Hearts. We love you too, Bookmates. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time for A Cursed Carved in Bone. Oh my god, I'm so excited for that
can't
one.
wait. I haven't read it yet either, and I'm stoked.
I haven't either.
I'm really excited.
It is sitting on my shelf like a beacon of desire.
I want to get back to Beyond.
I want to be inside that book so badly.
All right, girl. I love you so much.
I love you too.
All right, I'll see you later. Good night, Bookmates.
Good night. Thank you. Goodbye now. Goodbye.
Good night.